book or there's no DVD collection, right? I mean, it's just you have to be there to receive it.
I gave Carol a few of his old syllabuses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And if
So
I
that's why
dig
I
far
think
enough up my shelf, I'm sure I have a few too.
we're gonna archive these videos.
Yeah, these will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
A collection.
Papa Boyd
The Papa
at
Boyd
staff
collection.
meeting.
Yeah.
I was like, shucks, I didn't bring my camera the first time when he gave that word, the prophetic word.
But the conference on Saturday, I feel like was a lot of what was discussed. It was, it really came from what was birthed.
Oh man.
I shouldn't say
A whole
birthed
other
on
level
Tuesday,
of clarity.
but yeah, it was
at the same time.
It was a greater level of clarity for that. So
absolutely.
I think that was the one to capture for sure.
Does anybody else have a question or going once, going
I
twice?
think it's awesome what you're saying, but I kind of hit on the point that you said the person has to want it. That was so important. Like that Saturday when you had us actually visualize stepping out, I actually saw Jesus' feet. And when I actually stepped forward, my feet was like as heavy as cement, but when I stepped over, it was amazing. I never forgot that thing you had us do, and it has really changed my life. And so,
It's fun.
yeah.
Wonderful.
So you gotta want it. You can have all these plans, but if the person doesn't want it, then it's not gonna go anywhere.
Look for the evidence to come in your life. Be mindful of how you see people when you look at them in the future. And come to the realization that you probably won't be able to see them according to their behavior, their past, their history, or even your memory of them. You'll only be able to see them through the unconditional love of God and the hopes that He holds in His heart for you. I'm talking about this is really a significant change that takes place. When that begins to happen, when you realize that you can't any longer see somebody in the manner in which you saw them, that you don't see them through a standard of judgment. You can only see them through what Jesus has accomplished on their behalf and made available to them. I mean, I'm talking about something that I would have never dreamed of. I would never connected that kind of evidence to it. I just, and certainly can look back and say I've done absolutely nothing to produce it, and yet it's the evidence that seems to be growing in my life every day. And so just be mindful of it, because you won't see it coming, and then one day you'll kind of realize that something really did happen, that something really shifted in your life, that without thinking about it, knowing it, without any bells or whistles or anything going off in the thing, God actually delivered you from that life of the flesh into the life of the Spirit. And now you're beginning to recognize the incredible evidence that's beginning to stack up as a witness of what took place. So I really bless you.
Amen.
Because how hungry my heart is to just walk with many people who now are seeing life through a completely different lens, and their whole perception is changing. And
Beautiful.
Yeah, and they're just beginning to marvel in it. They know they had nothing to, they had nothing to do with it. Yeah, that it all took place
All Him.
through some preparation that set them up. Yeah, yeah, really set them up for a moment that God would come and break in and not explain Himself very well and just go on His way, kind of thing. So, anyway, thanks for sharing.
Would you close us in prayer along those lines?
I thought that was pretty good if you were
Actually,
recording it.
But let's lift that one up. Yeah. Definitely.
I just, Lord, first of all, I thank you that I'm not out of sorts today. So, as we've come to this time, and I just thank you. I think this has really been a blessed time that you provided for us. This
Absolutely.
morning. I just rejoice in it, Lord. If we're looking for prophetic words, I think we've heard them this morning. If we're looking for insight into the future, I think that we've heard it this morning. I think if we're looking for a mirror to look in, we've looked into the mirror this morning, and that you've been faithful to be responsive to us in every aspect of this time together. And we just give you praise and thanksgiving as you continue to love us and just raise us up as your sons and your daughters into the wonder of everything that you desire of our lives, and for our lives to become becomes significant to you and significant to the world that we live in, that our lives would simply become the expression of love, and that wherever we walked, there would be an awareness of who we are becoming in relationship to you, and that you would be made known in the reality of who you are, and we'll give you the praise and the thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Well, Papa Boyd, thank you so much. I know it began with a hug, and now, though, I mean, as for me, and I think I speak for the team here, we have just grown to love you and Debs, and our relationship with you has grown. Amen. And we love the opportunity just to sit, and we treasure not just the words that you share, but it's the messenger. You know, it comes from a it does. You really are an expression of the Father's love, and praise God that you're able to articulate it in such a way that is that both resonates and transforms. You know, as we hear it. And
I think I'm beginning to understand that.
We treasure it. Yeah, we treasure you.
I had a conversation with a lady while I've been here in Hawaii. She said to me, Papa, I've heard you say those things before, but when you said them tonight, it affected me in a different way.
That's right.
She said, why is that? I said, it's because when we embrace what's true, it embraces us to the place that we become one with it. There's a substance, there's a weight that grows. It begins almost informationally.
Yes.
And it grows in substance. And it's not the words that affect, it's the substance that affects.
Yeah. Faith is the substance
of
things.
And I think I've become aware of that, because I've had occasions lately
that's it.
where I'll have somebody, I was talking to a man in Australia not too long ago, and we got into a subject that was right on in the moment of time.
Yeah.
And the conversation had been kind of back and forth. All of a sudden he went silent on the other end of the phone. And I knew that whatever was being communicated, the substance of it, had really arrested him, just sobered him in that moment of time. Yeah. And that's, you know, I'd rather have one of those words than a book full of information kind of thing. Yeah. But that's the reality.
That's so good.
Yeah, we should be hungry for that. And I think if we major in the uniqueness of our lives, then there comes substance to that uniqueness. That's one of the problems in the church. We tend to want to be all things to all people, and we're and there's not much substance to any of the stuff we are.
It becomes very.
So I think that's all part of the change that's coming.
It's very cool.
I recognize it in my life.
That's a very powerful thing to recognize, and to contend for. Real kingdom substance to affect. And it's in the spirit. I mean, it's not something. I mean, you could say the exact same thing multiple times, as we've all tried, and it doesn't ring. And then you say it a certain way or a certain moment, not even very well, but there it is.
Yeah, and I appreciate her bringing that up, because I've watched that happen. I see it happen more today than ever before.
Yeah.
And because it does, I'm interested in why it happens more.
Yes. That's a good point. Yeah.
And it brings an interpretive key of, where what are you really invested in?
Yeah.
It's like this word for up here in this area. I mean, there's a place to embrace it where it's informational now, maybe maybe inspiring now, maybe, but there's a place where that prophetic word is really meant to possess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And for it to grow in substance so that it bursts.
Yeah. You own it now.
It's not just about speaking it out. It's about owning it.
Again, you become love. You become it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a becoming.
That's what I want.
That's what we want.
Above all other
That's
things.
what we're all about.
Right.
Amen. I love it. Yeah, it's coming together. Thank you. We're gonna go to CPK. If anybody wants to join, can you guys join us for? Or do you have to go to see the
Everyone?
CPK.
Yeah.
We're going to California Pizza Kitchen.
Nice.
Really?
Is that okay? We went there last time.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. Yeah.
Even though I was out of sorts.
Yeah.
And Mark didn't know it.
Yep, can't tell.
Huh?
Your bag.
My bag was